Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the almost afternoon now. It's Monday morning. We already did a segment a little bit on calligraphy. Hubster got me a new box of calligraphy stuff. We talked about that and a little bit of other things that I got. Some new boxes to put my supplies on my desk and some other things. So that was in part one. So now we're going to go on to Holbies and Hedgies. So if y'all remember in the Bennett Klein Wild, which has been a while since I worked in one of our Bennett Klein books, I said that this would be a good one to do with the Holbein pencils. So I'm going to use, and I call them Holbies. So we're going to do Holbies and Hedgies today. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps. And if you're watching this recording on YouTube, this is a live show with a live chat and mostly awake people. So anyway, yeah, I know. It has been a while. It has been a while. Okay, so anyway, I did take my Holbies out of the box. Oh, there's my mailman. I did take them out of the box. So let me show you the box. This is what the box looks like. It's the 150 set Holbein Artist Color pencils. And I did take them out and put them in a pencil case so that it's just just as easy for me to do it, because the thing about they have 3 trays in the set, and if I take the trays out and lay them all out around me to work with all the Holbies in the 3 trays, I've really not much room, so I put them in a pencil case. So I got the Holbies in a pencil case right next to me, so I can just flip the pencils like this and see the pencils in the pencil case. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. We're going to do Holbies and Hedgies. All right, so we were talking earlier. One of the girls said, well, how are you going to do the little water droplets on the roses? And I said, well, I'd probably just look up some roses with water droplets. Well, that brought me to looking up reference material if you want to see how to color things. I don't know, Palm. I haven't been out here. He just put some in my mailbox and drove away. So no packages delivered to the door. So anyway, if you go on Google, okay, and I just put in hedgehog, and then and this, if you all, everybody knows this, don't email me. Go, well, doesn't everybody know that? Don't email me. I'm just showing it in case somebody doesn't know. So if you go on Google and you put in a search, you'll get a whole line of options here. You get all, images, shopping, videos, news, maps, books, flights, search tools, all kinds of things will come on the toolbar. I always just click on images, and then what happens is you get, in this case, tons and tons and tons of pictures of hedgehogs. And if you click on one, let's see, maybe this one has some good color. If you click on one, what happens is now in a subcategory, you're going to get lots of images that are similar to this one. Okay, so now you got all these options as well, and you can also say add more related images, so you'll get lots of related images to that first one. And if you don't like that one, then just hit the back button and go back, and then just search through again. If you find one, like let's go with this one. Again, now there's related images to that one, whether it's be the pose, the color, the type, or whatever kind of thing you're looking for. So if we're going to go with, looking at hedgehogs, and if we want to do them, and again, you could do these pink, purple, blue, green, yellow hedgehogs, whatever color you want. But if we want to go with the true colors, then here's some options here. So I'm just kind of looking. I kind of like that one. And it looks a little grayed out on the screen. He's much browner in person. He's much browner here. And usually what I'll do is I'll just take a screenshot so that I don't have to keep that Google page open. So then if I want to go find another one, let's see. I'm just kind of really looking for colors here. This one is good too. I'm liking the colors on that one, so we'll just kind of make him a little bigger, and I'll take a screening of that one. That way I have the picture and I don't have to keep trying to find that same image. So we're going to just, we're strictly using this for color, right? There's his little feet. So I do need one showing his feet because they're kind of pink. So let's go with this one that shows the pink feet. So I'm going to kind of zoom in on these feet right there. So we're going to take pictures of his feet. And you can just take a picture of the eye. You can take a picture of the ear. You can take a picture of whatever. Okay, so now we have some hedgies. Now I also want some pictures with some raindrops. So let me go back up here. And I'm going to put raindrops on roses. Raindrops on roses. And of course, Julie Andrews comes up first. All right, let me get some images here. And again, now what's coming up, look at all these options here. Not only do we have the video images, shopping news, maps, books, blah, blah, blah. Now we have here clip art and all these colors. Whoops. All these colors. So you can click on colors. Then you got a black rose, the morning rose, beautiful day. You are, quote, light color, purple, green, pink, dark red, blue, raindrop, tear, you know, and so it breaks it out by your request. And the more words you put in, you will get more variety. More variety of options the more you put in your search, like raindrops on roses. So not only did I get roses, but I got colors, and I got rain, I got drop, I got tear. So you get all kinds of other things. The other option too, not just Google Images, but Pinterest. Pinterest, you have all, you'll get all these kind of options as well. So, you know, wherever you want to find it. So now I got to decide, do I want pink? Do I want red? I got to decide, do I want either a pink or a red rose? Like this one, here's a close-up of a pink one. I'm going to save that because look at those raindrops. So look, it shows you right there. Now you know how to color them in pink. Here's one with red. There's an awesome one with, look at those raindrops. Look at the blue in the raindrops. So see, now you can see how to color, your rose. And whether you do it exactly or not, you know, color your roses exactly, you have the colors. You can see all the white and the blue on the raindrops. And also, guys, don't forget, now I haven't looked in here yet on our special effects book that few of us got last week or the week before. Let's just look for, we did the teardrop. Remember we did this one here. We did this teardrop. So here's where we did, it's essentially a drop of water, right? It's a drop of water right there. And the reason that this one is brown is because it's on her skin. So the tan of her skin is showing through the water. Well, if you're going to do something like red, water on a rose, look, the water droplet is pink and red, and the highlight in this case is blue. That may be because it's under a blue sky. In this case, it looks like a photo, you know, they're photographing it on blue, whether it's an actual sky or not. I don't know. It could be a studio shot. And the blue background is reflecting onto the rose petals. You see? Okay. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, so and there is a video on this. We went through step by step and used her step by step to show you how to do this. And yeah, so anyway, the reason I'm bringing this out is to say I think she has raindrops in here. Let's see. Just because, you know, we like to promote other artists. Yeah, here we go. Running water drops on leaves. So she's got running ones. Now, I don't know, there's really no running ones on here. They're just droplets. They're not dropping. But yeah, she does have them here. So, but of course you wouldn't do a green, you would do it red, pink, and in this case, you know, if we did a red rose, which I'm thinking we're going to do red. I know. So anyway, like here's one little droplet here. She did a little droplet. There's different shapes. Here's a little droplet there. So I mean, we could kind of use her example if y'all want. I've done quite a few of them, not from her book, but we try to we try to explore all possibilities, because if this would help somebody, then we're all about promoting this artist if it's going to help you. But yeah, this book is awesome. Helen Elliston, and it's color is special effects. So she does all kinds. Oh, well, here. Oh, these are air bubbles. Okay, so we got bubbles. Here's a rose with some water droplets. But I'm not going to go off for hers. I might, pull this up here to show y'all when we get to the water droplets. But I'm going to color. I'm going to use this for my reference. So I'm just going to go off of the colors of the rose here, and the colors of the hedgie. So now that I found a couple roses and a couple hedgies, I'm going to go back. I got out of my Safari and I go into my pictures, so I don't have to be on the internet. Not that that matters. I'm on Wi-Fi, but I don't have to be on the internet to look at my pictures, right? I have them saved. So again, whether you save them off of Google or Pinterest or whatever, just to use for your color book. Okay, so now we're going to pick some colors. Again, I'm going to use my Holbeins. Thank you. Thank you, Melody. Okay, so. All right, so let me look at my pictures that I pulled up of my hedgies. And I'm going to look through my colors here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pick some pinks for his feet. I'll tell you what they say on them and everything. They are gold on wood here, so I'm gonna probably have to get out my magnifying glass to tell y'all, because when it's gold on light colors, it's hard to read. But we're gonna go with let's see. I think the other picture had better pictures of his feet. Okay, so I want to use a little bit of pink, a little bit of some, and I'll tell you what the colors are in just a minute, guys. Give me a minute. I'm going to pick some colors. I'm going to pick some colors. Probably kind of a golden color and a couple of these. And again, you see how tiny the feet are. We're probably not going to get to use all these colors. But I'm going to pull them because these are the colors in the feet. Okay? So we are not going to be defeated. Okay, so those are the colors I'm going to use in the feet and his ears. The ears and their feet are the same. If you have any questions, put them in caps. And so we'll start with the Holbies, then I'll pick colors for the flowers. I hope we're close up enough. Let me move this book here that has our raindrop on there until we get to the flower, because we're going to do the Holbies first. Okay, so then, the hedgies. Now I need to look at his coloring, and I'm going to, of course, need a couple shades of brown. So I'm going to get 2 shades of brown. I'll tell you all the names in just a minute. And I'm just looking at the reference. I'm looking at this to see what colors I'm going to need. Okay? We'll probably need a tan. Let's see, this tan. This color can probably be used for both. Can be used for the feet and the fur. So really, I think that's probably all, other than black and a little bit of blue highlight in his eye. So let's see. Let me get a blue for a highlight. Let's see, which blue do I want? I want a kind of a slate blue. I'm not sure that's the name of it, but a blue for the eye. We're going to need white and black. So let's go with black. And we might need a little gray in the white fur too. So let's see. Let's get this gray and maybe a lighter gray. And we may or may not use all these colors, guys, like I said. No, I think I need this gray. Nope, that's too much the same. The picture's kind of little, so we gotta kind of keep the colors to a minimum. There we go. And then I need white. So this will probably do us here. Okay. Now I'm going to have to sharpen, but yeah. All right. So I'm just going to sharpen while we chat, and I'll tell you the names of the colors. so this one, oh, I'll probably have to get my magnifying glass. Hang on, guys. Because gold writing on pink wood. Hard to see. All right, so this is just pink. This is just pink. I don't know if y'all need the numbers. Yeah, just pink. Okay, I'm going to sharpen and tell you the names. Okay, this one is tan. While I'm sharpening. This one is just called brown. Pink, tan, and brown. This one is cork. Bye, Valerie. Thanks for stopping in. This one is sepia. This one is umber. See, I can read the gold on the dark color pencils. It's those light ones that the gold doesn't show up on very well. Okay, this one is wow, that one's really hard to read. Why can't I even... I can't even read that one. Something, is it light blue? Oh, wait. Forget me not blue. No wonder I couldn't read. It was so long. I'm going, what? Not blue? Forget me not blue. Black. Cool gray number 4. Cool gray number 2. And white. So let me sharpen these grays. Hey there, Sherry. Okay, so there we go. So we got our Holbies all sharpened up. All right. So I'm going to start by just kind of base coating. I've heard different things, Kathy. If y'all want to know the properties of the pencils, every time I say it's one thing or another, I get an email or a comment saying, no, it's not that. So everybody look up to, if you want to know if pencils, I know Prismacolors are wax-based. If y'all want to know what Holbies are, if you want to know, or Holbeins, if you want to know what luminants are, polychromos, which I think everyone knows polychromos are oil. But if you want to know if they're oil or wax, and some are saying certain ones are a combination, just go look them up, guys, because every time I say one, then I change it and I say, no, somebody told me so-and-so. Then I get another comment saying, no, it's the other. So, yeah, I don't know. Just saying. Okay, so I'm going to start, I think, with the gray fur underneath. You can ask the girls here; they can give you their opinion. But yeah, so I'm going to get the grays, the 2 grays and the white. All right, so I am going to start with the. I think I'll start with the dark gray, and I'm just kind of using my reference picture to kind of decide. And I'm not trying to copy it exactly. If it doesn't look like it exactly, I don't care, but if you do, if you want to get it real, be a stickler, Okay, so now I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to start shading. And you can see with the, that's a grayscale. So you can see where it is, now his little nostril, he's got brown right around this part of the face. So I think I'm going to keep that. So this is what I'm going to do. The pictures that I'm looking at. He has like from his eye down to, I'm going to kind of draw a line around where the brown is. So I'm going to have brown all in here. Okay, see where I just kind of drew a little line just to indicate where I want brown, because he's going to have white and gray here, but his muzzle is brown. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to kind of just go up to his eyebrow, around the eye, kind of flick around a little bit like that. So that area will be brown. They're just colored pencils, Eileen said. Okay, so yeah, this area will be browns, and then of course pink and pink. So now I'm just going to go back to the light, or the dark gray. Well, it's cool gray number, what I say, number 4. It's not the darkest gray, it's like a mid gray. And I'm going to start doing everywhere else that's dark. So like underneath here, and you just kind of follow the grayscale. I'm going to try to get this one done. We're going to try to get this one done in 2 hours. Hey, darkened lady. And I think Jean is streaming at 4. Our Janet is still out of town, so she's not streaming. See where the grayscale is? Do I need to, maybe I need to zoom in one more. Hang on, let's go ahead and do a little bit more zoom. So let's try to get as close as we can. There we go. Now I got to move everything over a little bit, but let's try that. That's better. Let's autofocus again. Let's get something down here for it to focus on. Probably the black pencil or brown pencil. And it doesn't look too pink. I look a little too pink, but the page doesn't. So I think we're good on the paper. So we're going to roll with that. Just ignore the color of my skin. What, Whippy? You don't think we can do it in 2 hours? Maybe not, but we're going to give it a go. All right. So I'm just kind of, like I said, following the grayscale. And if y'all don't follow Bennett Klein, this is what we're working in Bennett Klein's Color My Sketchbook Wild. He comes out with a new color book pretty much every month. And he's got about maybe 8 or 10 out now. I lost count. I think I have all but 2 of his books. So anyway, he has an awesome Facebook group. If you want a friendly, nice, very encouraging, and Bennett Klein is the most encouraging person, color book person you'll find. And he and his daughter, now he's got his daughter May helping with some of the color book designs as well. And you can buy, his color book pages are thin. They are copy paper thin. However, you can buy the digi downloads and then print them out on whatever paper you want. I don't mind the thin. I mean, you do have a little bit of a struggle if you want to do washes and watercolor, neocolors, or ink tints. If you want to wet these pages, I know how to work with it, but if you're not used to working with water on thin paper, then you probably want to only do pencil. And I'm going to try to only do pencil on here. I might do a little ink in the eye or something, but other than that, okay. Whippy, go plant your rose bushes and check back. Girl. And so anyway, so I'm just kind of flicking some little extra hairs in there if I feel like it, you know. Again, it's, you know, you don't have to copy exactly. Do what you feel like you want. Okay. I was wondering, yeah, Jean, you're streaming at 4, right? I gotta throw some pork chops and some potatoes tonight. I gotta cook tonight, so I'll have to take you to the kitchen, Jean. Gonna have to take you to the kitchen when you come on. So there we go. So just a little bit of the dark. And his fur does have, in the picture, has a little bit more brown in there, but I'm gonna leave it gray. I'm gonna leave this gray, face brown, and then browns and tans up in here. Okay, so now I think real quick I'm going to take my pink and just put a base coat of pink on the feet and the ears. I'm going to shade it too, but I'm just going to go ahead and get a base coat on. So anyway, I'm just going to try to do the whole piece with just the Holbeins, the Holbies, so that there's no water, no washes, nothing else involved, except, like I said, maybe in the pupils I like to get an ink, you know, a Sharpie pen, not a Sharpie marker, a Sharpie pen to get the black in the eyes. But this paper is pretty thin, so you want to put something behind it to make sure it doesn't go through. But I like a nice black pupil. So yeah, he has a little black nose and black eyes. So I'm just going to put a light coat of pink. And again, we're going to try to get this done in a couple hours. Or we'll see how far we get. I don't know if we'll fit. We'll try. We'll try to get the roses and the hedgies done. I don't know if I'll get all that filigree stuff done or not. And I don't know what color I want to do around the back. Y'all know I love to paint my backgrounds. But I'm going to try. I'm going to just, at least all this will be pencil. I can't promise you the background will be won't be painted. So, all right. So there's a little pink on the little. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my picture with the close-up of the feet. And I'm going to go with the dark brown and do. His little toenails are actually white. I don't know if I can capture that with pencil. I think I can. If not, use a gel pen, use a Posca, whatever you need to get that white to stand out. But I'm going to try to get the little toenails are white. Probably not a good idea to do at this stage because got to go to the roses, and I'll probably end up having to go over this again to keep them white. But I just want to see them white. Okay, now I'm going to go with the dark brown. If you have any questions, put them in caps. I'm just gabbing away here. I'm going to do a little shading in between the little toes. A little shading under his body with the brown. Very light touch. See how hold your pencil way back. If you're afraid, if you get down here like this and got a real hard pressure, it's time to back it up. Beep, 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 beep. Because of no pressure at all. And just kind of like little jaggedy strokes to kind of make it look like fur. I'm kind of doing this on there, kind of doing this, but little, just kind of like that. I just painted this morning because it's not gonna last. It never lasts because I use my desk for a practice thing. Hey Julie, how you doing? And I gotta find Julie. I wanna make you a permanent mod, but I can't. I couldn't find. I think Jean gave me directions on how to find it again because I changed stuff up, and I couldn't find the auto mod thing anywhere since Ustream messed things up. But anyway, I want to find the auto mod for you. But good morning or good afternoon now. So can y'all see the difference between that one and that one? Just that little bit of brown? You like his little pink ears? So again, I'm just doing little zigzaggy strokes just to make it kind of furrish. And you got to keep your pencils really sharp in these tiny little. So May is the one who came in and said, "You do the Holbies and Hedgies." So we're some other people been wanting me to do this too. This page. So we'll see how far we get with it. Like I said, I want to at least get the hedgies and the roses, or at least the hedgies and one rose at least, so you can see what the elements look like, and then whether we finish or not. I do post all my finished color book pages. I rarely post a work in progress. I do occasionally. Now I'm going to same thing. I'm going to go up here in his ears and pick out some of the dark in the ears, and I'm just kind of going in between some of those little. See, I'm kind of like going in there in between the fur like that. I don't post many work in progresses, but I do post all my finished pieces on Instagram, Twitter, and then I have an album on my Facebook, and it's called Color Book Pages and Color Books and Color Book Pages or something like that. And you don't have to follow me, and I don't have to follow you. It's a public. All my artwork is public, so you can just go in there and click on albums, and then it'll show all the albums that I have. So it shouldn't be a problem for you to see my color book pages. So now I'm going to barely touch the brown and just kind of feather that out very, very lightly. It's like one of those times you go shh, 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 very lightly. Just kind of shade with the brown. Oh, it's under interactivity. Okay, thanks, Jean. Let me write that down because I'll forget. Interactivity. Is that tab under something else, Jean? Because I couldn't find it. I mean, I thought I went under every single tab, every sub tab, every sub tab. I could not find, because all the rest of y'all have auto mod, all the rest of you mods, but I could not find it anywhere. So, interactivity. Okay, thanks, Jean. But anyway, so back to Bennett Klein. He has an awesome Facebook group. If y'all are into color books and groups, Bennett Klein is a very nice, encouraging one. Okay, so there you can see the difference between the ears, just with the pink and brown. There's the pink, and this one has the brown. So now I'm going to do the same thing over here. See how that, just that little bit. And I'm taking my time too, guys, so maybe I shouldn't be going so slow, but... And I'm constantly turning my pencil to keep a sharp point. You don't want to get it much duller than that. See how that is? If you get it much duller than that, it's not gonna... You won't be able to get those little hair flicks. Under the chat settings. Okay. Interactivity and then arrow chat. Okay, thanks, Jean. I'll do that after, when I'm uploading. Thank you. Okay. Just kind of flicking in a couple like that so that there's those little white hairs are going to show. And again, if you lose any of your bright whites or your highlights, I'm not a purist. I don't care if I need to go in there with a highlighter, a gel pen or a Posca or a Sharpie paint pen or whatever it takes to get that bright white back if I need to. So maybe I'll do that right here on this ear when I get done with another layer of pink. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with the pink, and I'm going to go back over the brown. So it's going to darken the pink, but it's going to blend with the brown. And this may be something very subtle that you can't even see on camera, but I can see it. So I'm just going back over the brown with the pink, kind of just getting a little bit more depth to it. Same thing with the little feet, going over the brown. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white pencil. I've seen you go at a slow pace. Yeah, but that's what I always try to explain to Kathy Caber when I'm doing these. I go faster while I'm streaming than when I'm not streaming. And I do that to squeeze in as much information and as many techniques and areas as I possibly can. Remember the one that we did real slow with Bennett Klein's? And I know most of you don't have seen it, but I'll bring it out in case somebody's watching that hasn't. This Bennett Klein piece, I'm getting out my binder, my color book binder, and I'll take this out of the sleeve. This right here, this Bennett Klein piece, we did it practically hair by hair, fur by fur, a little horn shape. This one took, I believe it was either 10 or 11 parts because I went real slow, step by step, practically a full-on demo. Okay. This one took a lot of parts. The little hummingbirds. the eyes. Okay, there is like multiple, like 10 parts, and they're on YouTube. If y'all were trying to find anything on my YouTube channel, I do have everything broke up in playlists to the best of my ability. So if you look under color books and coloring, you'll see all of these. So anyway, when I'm coloring by myself, I might take my time. Of course, I'm probably working on more than one piece at a time anyway. But when I'm trying to stream and get much information in for you guys, I don't want to have every color book page be 10 parts. I'd lose you all if I did 10 pages on every color book. So I try to do no more than 2 parts anymore, and then I tell you, and I try to do the bulk, the main things, like at least one hedgie and one rose, and tell you, because it's going to be the exact same thing. And then that way you can get the ideas, the shading, the techniques, or whatever. Even though I may not finish it on a part, you'll at least know where to go. So, because it does take a long time. And that's the other thing I like about doing real time, like streaming and then uploading them to YouTube, is you do see how long things take. And again, I'll watch a speed video every now and then, but I'm more one to put on a long video, so while I'm working, I'm watching something. So I'm not dissing on speed videos. All I'm saying is that people don't really realize how long something takes. I've seen some awesome paintings and in 5 minutes. Beautiful paintings, 10 minutes. And it took them weeks maybe. I don't know, and they edited it all together, and so you don't really know how long it takes unless they tell you in the description box how long it took. Otherwise, people get the impression, especially not, new artists, newbies, kids, teens that are trying to start to draw and stuff. They see these speed videos and bam, there's a finished piece, and they don't tell you that it may have taken 6 hours or a week, So, yeah. All right, so now I'm going to go with the white, and I'm going to pick out, again, if my pencil won't give me the bright white that I want, I'll go back in here with the Posca or a gel pen. Okay, so this one seems to be doing pretty, and I did forget something. I'm kind of putting a little bit of pressure on that white, and I totally forgot to put something behind. So always remember to put a piece of cardstock behind your piece, especially on these thin pages, because if you put any pressure, like I'm kind of putting a little more pressure on the white, then you're going to dent the next page. You're going to indent it, and so then when you go to color this page, you're going to have a bump there. So always put a piece of cardstock behind. It's a good habit to get into, whether the page is thick or thin. Okay, so now I want make sure these little hairs flick over the ear there. And again, if I can't get that brightness with a pencil, I'll go in there with a Posca. Okay, so right there, can you see the difference between those two now that I added the white? This is a good one to do samples on, because you can see one that's, stage 1, stage 2, So again, I'm going to go around that ear a little. The same thing down here on the bottom lobe. I'm trying to keep my hand back on the pencil so my hand's not blocking. And then a little bit of just smoothing out inside the ear like that. Now let's do his feet, the same thing. I want to go on each little toe on top of the pink to give it a little bit of highlight. Each little toe, the little top of his hand there has got some highlight on it. And that little area there might be a little lighter too. Okay. But yeah, I know what y'all mean about wanting to see how long something really takes. Kathy and whoever else was talking about that. Because I'm that way too. I want to know, well, did you work that painting up in like 5 minutes? Let me make sure my chat didn't freeze. So just, I think that's probably enough on his feet. Maybe just a touch more pink. Just maybe a little bit more pink, but doesn't need much because it's a tiny little area. Thanks. And like seeing Erin, that reminds me, Erin did a color book page, and she did she speeded it up and showed the whole thing. And I said, oh, I wonder how long that took her. Well, she put it in the description box. I thought when I saw her working on it, I said, oh man, that probably took her all day. Well, come to find out, I think it took her a week, right, Erin? A week? So people can get the idea that you're just whipping out this art. And Erin, and it was an awesome page, but it took her a week, I think. I'm pretty sure it was a week. So yeah, so there we go. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and do his eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and get in here. I'll go ahead and try with the black pencil first, but I like a very, very black pupil. So I'm going to get in there with the pupil, and I'm trying, I can tell you for a fact that I will put a dot of white highlight on top of the white because the white's not bright enough for me or big enough. So I will put more of a highlight with the white Posca or gel pen. Yes, exactly, Button. She told us it took days, a week all total. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's awesome because otherwise you wouldn't know. All right, now I need to go back to this one. I need his little nose is brown and black. You don't really see the nostrils on Ben. I'm gonna put a little bit of more nostril on these. I want the nostril hole to show a little bit. And so I'm going to put the little black nose, and the rest will be brown. Same thing for his eyes are dark brown. So, but I'm going to start, and this is a good tip for me, it works for me. I'm not telling you, and this just works for me. Whenever you're coloring pupils, if you start with just the tiniest bit of a white or light, let's just say that the eyes were going to be green, okay? Then put a little bit of lime green on the eye first so you keep a brightness to them so that when you go over that with the color, whatever color it is, it's going to be lighter there. So now I can go over here. I'm going to go ahead and take the, this is it's called just brown. So now when I go over the white, it's going to be a lighter brown than the top of his eye where I didn't put any white. And this may be hard to see. I'll try to hold it up for you in a minute. So the tops are going to be darker brown, and because there's a coating of white, and you could have used a light tan or whatever, the shades in the pupil are going to be two-tone. See how that looks a little bit, it's very, very subtle, but this is a little lighter brown on the bottom than it is on the top. Although I am going to go ahead and take the darker brown anyway, and I am going to go right on the very top of the eye to make it even darker brown. And I'll probably put some black, maybe a couple little lashes or something like that. And now I want to get a gel pen, or let me see, where's my gel pen, or a Posca. Oh, a Posca. I want to get a new one. Okay. So a nice sharp Posca, or if you don't have Posca, you can use the Sharpie poster paint pens, the white, they're not the oil-based or the water-based, or a gel pen, as long as it's pointy, because I'm going to go in here and I'm going to touch those little highlights in the eye. And I also want just the tiniest bit. And I probably will go back over this with a color, but I just want to brighten up the under eye lid just a little. Okay, even though it's white now, once it dries, you can pencil over it. And this is true, I'm going to show you in a couple more spaces. Like for instance, where these white hairs go over the ear, if you want them more exaggerated and more, and that's the same thing with any hair. You can flick little hairs over. Look, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just kind of pop in a few little extra little Holby hairs. I mean, hedgy hairs. Right over the ear. And you would probably want to do this at the end when you were completely done coloring everything. But now look at the difference between those two ears. See the hairs, how they flicked out? And then you kind of might have to tap the edges so it doesn't look like a harsh line. You want it to look like hairs growing out. But you see the difference there? Okay, so now I'm going to go over here on this one. I'm going to just kind of flick out. And you can have them going crossing over and have a few of them. Or just follow what's there. And it just gives it a little bit more depth to those little hairs. All right, now their little muzzles, like I said, their muzzles are, in at least the pictures I'm going from, are dark brown. So I'm going to take here's the two browns I'm using, brown and burnt umber. I'm going to take just what they're calling brown. It's kind of a lighter shade of brown. And I'm just going to color over the whole area of his muzzle just to get a base. And then these little hairs are going to kind of come out a little bit. I just kind of drew that line for myself just to kind of indicate where the brown muzzle area was going to be. Okay. And again, use the grayscale shading to your advantage. Love the little hairs. Yeah, me too, Kathy. And it's probably a little set in right there. I want a little bit more shadow right there. And I'm just like doing a lot of like layering, like, you know, over and over and over and over, not bearing down here. Because if you bear down, you can get a nice, you'll mash everything in and burnish your paper, but you won't be able to do any more layering, more blending, I should say. So if you want to keep blending, you don't want to get everything mashed down and all burnished, because then you can't keep blending. So have a light touch. Okay, have a light touch. And then his little nose, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this light brown on the tip just for now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's built-in shading for you. Exactly. Now I'm not going to do the little eyelashes. This one has more eyelashes. Like this one may supposed to be a girl because this one doesn't have any eyelashes. I don't know if that's what Bennett Klein intended, but this one has eyelashes and this one really doesn't. But anyway. So we'll probably go in there with some eyelashes, or at least get a nice dark eye when we get this fur done around the eye. Okay, so now I'm going to just shade a little down here with a darker. It's darker. I'm going to go in with the dark brown here in a minute too, but I want to get as much dark as I can with just this first color. And a few of these little dark hairs will probably flick over the gray. So we'll flick a few little. Or these gray ones may kind of tie in. And they don't have any whiskers here either. Well, maybe they do. It's hard to tell. I'm going to put whiskers in here at the end. After the roses are done, I'll go in here with some white and flick some. I could go with black or white. We'll see what it needs at the end. But put some little whiskers on them too at the end. Those little details really will make your page go, oh. So again, I'm going to kind of just pull this into the gray. Or if you need to, then take your white and go back up into the brown. Or you can flick some hairs in there. Maybe we'll do that here in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to take the dark brown and get back in there and get some of the depth into the eyes. Can y'all see how that makes a difference when you add the... And I think some of these little hairs kind of almost go up on the little face a little more like that. Kind of almost up in a little point. So I'm going to pull that up a little like that. Same thing for this one. Whisker flicking. That's right, Terry. We're whisker flicking. And the same thing for each little hairs, like around the under their eyes like that. So you just kind of pull some of the darker. And then that white that I put there, I'm going to go back with the brown. It's called brown. It's like a light brown. And I'm going to barely go over those white lines that I underlined, just to kind of knock back the white. And you may not be able to tell, but it's just a little less. It's still bright, but it's not that bright. I just want to not have it so, because it doesn't look real when it's that white. So just a little. Then I'll take my white pencil and almost just kind of blend just a tiny bit around there like that. Hey, Subin. Oh, I don't know. Ustream was doing some changes and updates. That may have something to do with it, but I don't know. I can't really say. We never know. We never know what the issues are. They don't tell us. We try to guess sometimes, but I think after 7 years, we pretty much stopped trying to guess. Right, Jean? Eileen? Sherry? Julie? It's like, oh, well, whatever. Something's going on. We don't know what, but something is. Put that in. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the brown. See, I'm using dark brown and brown, and I'm going to start kind of just blending out a little. And I think what I'm going to do is, let's finish blending this first. Take some of the light gray to blend things together. Because they do have, some gray in their little muzzle too, even though the picture I'm looking at, they're pretty much all brown. But I think to kind of blend, I'm going to use the gray. Yep, we just go with it. That's right. That's all you can do, really, right? Okay. And they look a little different. She's going to have more like, she's going to have eyelashes, although I still think I might put some in here too. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with the white pencil and just get a little bit of blend right along the edge of the eye there. Although the top of their eyes really don't have that much white on top. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to darken that a little more. Go back and darken the top of the eye. Kind of set it back a little. Just a little, because it still has a brightness to it, but it's not as light as underneath. All right, now I'm going to take the light gray, which is gray number 2, and I'm going to kind of blend in some of the brown and give the little nose some little nostrils. I want the nose to have, I don't know that I couldn't really see any nostril holes in there, but I want to put some. So now I'm just going to kind of almost go across the grain, so to speak, to blend. Like I kind of, if I went this way with the brown, now I'm kind of going across, you know, just kind of, just blending, essentially, just blending. Using gray instead of like white or a light brown. I'm just using the gray. And if it gets too gray, I'll put another layer of brown. But if you can put, the more colors you can put in, the more real it's going to seem, or more realistic their little fur is going to be. So I'm also going to kind of pull some of this gray out right here where I'm blending. Hope y'all can see something. Something. So yeah, the Holbies are real smooth. They're not quite as soft when I'm working with them. They don't feel quite as soft as Prisma. As far as, I don't know, they're just a little not as soft, but they're still, look how nicely they're blending. Can y'all see that to that? See how I blended that? The difference right there. Now this still, just now that I've blended some gray on here, this looks a little light. So I'm going to go back with the dark brown and just put a little back on there. Because where I put the gray on top, it kind of lightened it. And their little nose too. I'm not sure how their little nose kind of goes up a little. Darker up there. Kind of like that. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the light gray and blend on this one for a minute. Can you see the blend with the gray on top? And then like I'm kind of pulling these out like this. It's like going right on top but pulling like that. Now go back with the dark brown and same thing. Darken that back up because it got a little light with the gray. Okay, I need to sharpen these now. They are starting to get a little, I mean, they're still sharp looking to the eye, but thanks, Terry Trouble. Okay, nice and sharp again. Dark brown. And you can fiddle here for as long as you feel like. As long as you're doing light layers, you can just keep playing and playing and playing. And I'm going to put some eyelashes on her in just a minute. Okay. Okay, going back to the light gray again. Just kind of blend that out till it looks furry. The blending looks great. It makes a huge difference. Yes, it does, doesn't it? And you can just keep layering and layering as long as you don't bear down and get it all burnished. You know, if you want it burnished, you better be the last thing you do. Okay. So now, let's see, this one still needs a little darker right under there. Okay, now remember I've already done this gray. This is already, this bit right here is already colored in. But I think I'm going to take the light gray and just add just a little bit more shadow down here on the bottom of him. And same for over here. I'm just going to add a little bit more darker gray here. And then once you are done, once you know that you're done, right, with your blending, your shading, or whatever, that's when you do the little, you can do your little white. Now I can't do them up here yet because I haven't colored this. So I don't want to put any flicks of white in here because I'm not done coloring in there. But I'm done coloring down here. So I'm going to take my white Posca. Now, here what I want to do is almost kind of flick in to the face. Now, again, if it gets thick, you better be ready just to wipe it off with your finger. You got to kind of barely touch it. If you use a gel pen, it's probably smaller. But I want a few little flicks of white hairs kind of coming in. Again, if you feel like it's getting too thick, the little hairs are too thick, then you need to kind of tap them with your finger. But I just want just a few little hairs like that, just to make them look a little furrier. And then same thing for these little edges here. I want a few little flicks down here, flicking into over the gray, but you got to have the gray already shaded and done. Don't try to put these little white flicks of hair on top and then go, oh well, I'm not done with right in there yet, because then you won't be able to, you don't want to try to color between little white individual hairs. Does that know? Hey Raven, bye. You know what I mean, Vern? So you want to save this little bit like this to wherever you finished coloring. And I'm just going to add a few. Again, you can do this with a gel pen or your Sharpie pen. I mean, if need be, you could do it with paint and a brush. You know, if you really get technical, you can do it with anything. But I just want to kind of show you. But these are the kind of things you really want to wait till the very end, because it's hard to paint around. So let's see if you can see that now. So here's with some little white hairs there. And I could even put maybe a couple more down, flicking down that away. So there's with the hairs on the body, and here's no extra. Oh, okay. Oh, you're saying bye to somebody else. Okay. It's good to see you, by the way. Thanks for being here. Anybody else I miss saying hi? And don't make them lined up like little soldiers. You want them kind of a long one, a short one, an odd one. One might cross over the other, you know. So I'm just going to flick in a few of these because I've already done the gray. Maybe have one or two come over the little foot. No? Okay, something like that. And if you do get one that's oh, that's kind of thick and it's too stand out, make sure it's dry, and then just take your pencil and then just kind of knock it back. You know, just kind of go back over that little one or two or whatever that doesn't look quite like they're growing out. Knock it back with a pencil if you need to, you know. All right, so now I'm going to put a couple eyelashes, and I'm going to do that with a Sharpie. Now, I don't know if I can hold this up so you can see if I can do this in the air, because I don't really want to mess with my camera settings and zoom again. So I'm going to try to hold this up in the air and see if I can do this. So I want to, first off, go along the top of the eyelid there, and then what I'm going to do is just going to flick out a few eyelashes, because I've pretty much covered up the ones that were there originally. Oh, I can't, I don't have enough pressure. So I'm going to flick out a couple eyelashes there. Okay, I kind of got one going the wrong way. Let's kind of wipe that out there. And I'm going to put one or two on him, but not, I want him, I guess this is supposed to be the guy, and he doesn't have long lashes. I don't know. Something like that. But she needs the long lashes. So there. So I want their eyes to look a little different. Maybe his eye comes around a little darker around the edge. Like that. Oh, Eileen, we're told you cannot stamp on acrylic paint, and that you cannot stamp on regular tissue. What? Of course you can, right, Eileen? Did you correct them? Did you say, oh, whoa, 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 whoa? Okay, I'm going to go back with my dark brown just a little right in there. It needs just a little bit dark. But see, I'm having to go in between those hairs. But I want a little bit more dark in their ear there. Just a little bit. And I'll tell you, this is what I notice the most in people that do color books and sometimes color pencil if they're not like professional. They don't do it, you know, professionally. I find that people with color books don't take their contrast far enough. You have to be able to have, I mean, if you, and I know a lot of people don't like to use black, but if you, even if you just use dark brown, dark blue, dark purple or something for the shadows, you really need that high contrast. I mean, in your piece, you should see something that's almost black and almost white, because it's that contrast that makes the piece pop. Otherwise, it kind of looks kind of flat, you know? And that's what I was telling Cameron when he was doing his piece. I didn't have to tell him too much, but where's my iPad? Oh, my iPad's right here. I'm looking at it. To make sure he had lots of contrast. So, see how he has real light lights and real dark darks? Even in the, see in the shading there, in the shadows, almost white. It's so light blue, it's almost white to dark blue. That makes your piece, whoops, come back here. That makes your piece very dramatic when you have, oh, lots of contrast. So let's go back to my hedgie. Which one do I want to use for the fur? Maybe this one. Okay. Because I got to do his back fur now. Yeah. I don't know if kind of when you just start a piece and you have those base layers, and they look good, and especially if you got a shadow, already for you on a grayscale, it looks really, shaded, blended well, but there's not enough darkness, enough richness in it. Let me get a sip of my cold coffee. And I think what it is people are afraid to go too dark. They're afraid they're going to get it too dark or too messed up. I need to do a little bit more blending here. I think, it's just not enough contrast. Always scared to use black and shading, but well, if you're afraid to use black, use dark blue, purple, brown, dark gray. You don't have to use black, because dark purple is going to look black. In Cameron's piece, let me show that again. I don't think he used any black. He used dark gray, purple, and indigo. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the background of this is dark purple. That's dark gray. That's not even black. He might have used black in the hair. And maybe he didn't even do that. That may even be indigo blue. That may be dark, dark blue. This was already black. Those little balls, these the centers of those either flowers or whatever these are, those were already gray, like black. I say black. They weren't pure black because the printing of them, they were printed dark gray, let's say. But all this is not black. That's indigo blue. This is a dark brown. This is purple in the background there. And again, I think her hair is indigo. So yeah. The contrast is what? Yes, it does. You use it now, yeah. See, even where I just went back here and added the dark brown in the ear here, just that little bit of darker brown right there just made the ear like set back. Now, if you do that though, you might have to go back in with like the pink and reestablish some things, because you might be losing some of your color if you're, but you learn that with practice. Actually, his ears could even have just a tiny bit. Let's go ahead and do this, because this will be a good little thing to show you. His ears are, let's just say they're so translucent. I don't think hedgehog ears are that translucent like a mouse, but if you put some blue in there, it's going to give the illusion that they're translucent, that the ears are almost see-through. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference between that one and that one. So can you see that? See it with that little bit of blue in the ear? And now look at that one. See the difference that makes? Just that little bit of blue made those ears look translucent. Now I'm going to go over here and do it on this one. See? Those little furry feet. All right, so we got to get crack-a-lack in here. So let's go ahead and do the fur on the body, which is mostly dark brown and tan. I pulled this golden color, but I don't know that I'm going to go with the gold color. Well, this is called tan. I call this golden, I call this yellow ochre, but they're calling it tan. But it's really kind of golden. But I think I'm just going to go with these colors of brown. If I look at the hedgehog fur, maybe sepia. Yeah, let's go with these three. So we're going to go with, what is that called? I can't see it because it's gold on tan. Cork. Cork, sepia, and burnt umber. We're going to go with these colors on the back fur. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, Bryn, by the way. Anybody else I missed? Thanks, everybody, for being here. Bojo, Bryn, Bright. Let me see who else I might have missed. Cheshire Cat, Cindy Lou Who. Hey, Cindy Lou Who. Good to see you, Cindy Lou Who. I know her from Facebook. Claire, Claudia, Corrine, Crafty Amy. Hey, Deb Boring. I know Deb Boring from Facebook, too. Dragonfly. Who else have I missed? Happy Ray. Most of y'all said hi. Jennifer Crackalack, and most of y'all said hi before, but I'm just trying to see the people I missed. Kia, Kimberly, McLinda, Lindsay Winsey, Lori, Lindair, Mad Rat. Who else? That's Mad Rat Lady. Is that Mad Rat Emma? Mad Rat Lady? Is that Mad Rat Emma? Pat Crochet. Hey, Pat. How's your family? Pepper Kitty. Sharon. Hey, Sharon L. Sharon L. and Sharon Quilt and Shells. Hey, Colleen, Twinkle Toes, and Vicky. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks, guys. Okay. It got a little dark again. Sun went behind the clouds. Let's do a little readjusting here. Let's do a little readjusting. Let's see. The brightness needs to come up. Let's see here. Hang on, guys. Nope, not that way. This way. That's pretty good. Yeah, the sun goes around the house and then it changes the lighting in here. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go on to all the fur here. Pretty much, I might put a couple flicks of white, but I'm going to start with doing all the back fur in this cork, kind of the tanny color. I'm just going to put a base coat of that over the whole thing. Did it get dark again? Oh my gosh. It keeps changing on me. What do y'all think, guys? I don't want to flash it out, but it got a little dark again. I know I get comments on YouTube saying, Dee Dee, the light wasn't bad, really. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. I'll trust you guys. Somewhere in there. Okay, so I'm gonna Okay, so and here's another tip, especially on color books, because you have no control over what the artist has drawn. But like this edge right here, he had to draw something there, right? He couldn't, that's the same thing with eyes. A lot of time the color book artists will have to draw lines under the eyes and stuff where there's really not a black line, unless you're wearing makeup. But there's not a black line there, but you have to draw something. Well, it's the same thing on the edges where the light hits it. There's not really a black line there. Would love some of that cloud cover. It's 99. It's hot out there. I'm sure. I'm not sure what the temperature is out there. Suzanne might be able to tell you, but it's not cool out there. But it's the brightness coming in and out of my window that's changing. All right, so there we go. You can see the difference here. But what I want to show you is, see on the edge here, that black line? if you really look at the hedgehog, that there's no line there. So you can take your white and you can kind of almost like cross over those lines. And even though you may, unless we paint the background, then you'll see these white lines that I'm drawing. But you'll get rid of that harsh edge. And it'll make the thing look more realistic, because when you're drawing realistic things and or coloring realistic things, you're not going to have that harsh edge. It wouldn't be there. So take your white and just kind of flick through it, and that'll give it less hard edge. And so he'll like fade. So see the difference between that hard edge and that soft edge. See how that makes him look more real? Now that black right here is part of the background. That's part of this design right there. But you could even flick a couple hairs right over it. See? And there'll be the same thing here. See these harsh lines right there? I can't really flick over those yet because I have to color that first. That's why I say this kind of stuff that we do with the white, the little individual hairs, the little flicking out like that, you want to do that after everything in the background that it's going to cover. It's 82 and partly cloudy. Thanks, Suzanne. So like I don't like those jaggedy harsh edges, so I can, like after the roses are colored, then I can flick some white right over it and make it fade into the background like that. Okay, all right, so let's go over to this side now, and again I'm just going to put a solid color of they're calling it cork. It's kind of a peachy tan color. That's kind of like the base color of his back. Just get a base coat in there, a light coat. You want to clip the fur going into the ears. It's like a little old man. Grandpa ears. We could put a few little stray eyebrows too if y'all want. See, so right here, remember I didn't flick any white up here because I said I wanted to do this part first. So now after I color this, then I'll flick a few hairs on there. But let's go ahead and now I'm going to go in here with the darkest brown, my sepia here. And I'm going to pick out those darkest hairs. And I'm just flicking them one by one, because we want them to look hedgehogish. We gotta have them look hedgehoggy. So I'm just going to do it hair by hair. And pick out all those darkest ones. And there will be a few coming off the back and stuff. But mostly, you know, you might see just a couple flicking out. But most of the hair that's on the light edge, you're not going to, it'll be light because the sun's hitting it in my world. Then there might not, if you don't have enough, if you don't think there's enough fur, then put more if you want. And I want nice and dark kind of behind the ear there. And then we can do extra little white if we need to. Because it's coarse, right? It's coarse hair. This isn't soft. Well, I guess it's soft if you go like that with it. But, you know, it kind of looks coarse when you look at them. It's probably softer than it looks. Maybe not, though. I don't know. All right, so I want to get all those flicked in. We're gonna do some shading here in a minute, but let me sharpen my pencil and do the other side. So can you see how just that so far is made him look more hedgehoggish? And if we do a couple, you'll see when we cross over, they'll look more stubby. They're going to look more like pokey here in a minute. Okay, so let's go back over here. Same thing. Let's I'm trying to move my hand, not the book, and yet stay out of your way. Oh, thanks, West Virginia. How you doing, by the way? I'm thinking it's West Virginia Melody, as opposed to the other Melody. Just a few flicks, and he comes to life, yes. Well, we got more flicks than this. We got to do more flicking. But this is the base flicks. Okay. And really, I'm just almost wanting to kind of cross over a few because he looks too neat. He looks too combed. Okay, so, but now I want to go back over here on this edge, and I want to get rid of this edge. Kind of like like I did on that one. I don't want a harsh edge. So I'm going to come in here with the white. And I might be able to get rid of that edge with a pencil. It's just so much easier with the Posca to kind of white it out on the edge. Kind of pull some in. Because I want them to be soft on the edges. Alright, so now what I want to do though is to have another shade of brown in there. I'm going to take the burnt umber, and I just want to kind of, and this may be too dark because it's too much the same. That's probably why I picked that golden ochre color out. But it's not really a color in him. I guess I will just have to go with the lighter brown because I just want a little bit of shading in here, because I'm going to go over it with some white flicks, but I just want a little variation of shadows in here and there, like here and there, here and there. See what I'm saying? Just so it's not just two colors of flicks. There's some shading going on there. His fur kind of, has areas where it's kind of dented in, or it's not just got more shadows in there like that. Can you see the difference between that one and this one? See how it's just got a little bit more variation in colors when I put that on there? The difference between that and that? I don't know. It's kind of subtle, but because I'm going to go back in here with some white flicks. But I want a little bit more undercolor before I put the white highlights on. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and do the same. Like it's a little darker, maybe right in here. I'm not really flicking now. Now I'm just kind of putting a nice little blend of a brown over the top. Okay, so now for the final flicks. I don't know, we're not getting far on that rose, are we? I hope to get one rose done, guys. All right, so now, because I finished that, well, really, I do need to do one more thing. I need to take the tan and just kind of make sure I don't see a bunch of pencil, because I do want this smooth. So I'm going to take the tan and just kind of, where I see a lot of pencil, non-blend, I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of blend here. It's not too bad, but some of the darker pencil, I can see the pencil marks. Not that that's always bad, especially in fur. You can use that to your advantage. But I do want to blend it out just a little here and there. And you probably won't be able to see that, but I can tell. So yeah, I'd like to get at least one rose done. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I hope y'all can get some hints and tips and techniques and all that, because I show y'all everything I know. This, you know, this is it. This is the secret. This is the secret world. This is how I do it. You know, I show you everything. Okay, so now going in here on the white, especially right here. Pencil non-blend is a new word. Thanks, Corinne. Okay, so now there's extra, like really some long hairs. And I want them to really kind of cross over so they look like a little longer coming off of his face. Now, right in here, I can go ahead and put those in for you guys, but just knowing that I'm going to have to try to either color that background and try to, you know, or redo the white. Because if I come right over the rose and stuff like that, you know, I haven't done the rose for it to flick over yet. Okay, so here we go. Let's so you can see the difference. Okay, so here's hair flicking here, and now I need to flick it up here. See the difference? Just those few little cross hairs. See how they cross over? See how these don't have any wild hairs? So we need some wild hairs. See? Those few little wild hairs really just make a difference. Now, thanks Terry, to show those almost like pointy, it's not quite as dramatic as a porcupine, but they do have, at least in the pictures I'm looking at, pointy bits, pointy hair, you know, sharp hairs that look like they almost could be, oh, that's too thick. See, oh, see, I pushed down on my pen. You can't see it. It's right over here. I tried to pump my pen, and I pumped it, but then it leaked over onto my here. So you gotta be careful of these. All right, so I'm gonna put the odd hair here and there. Especially on the edges. And I want some that are, they're not all perfect. They're all not going like this. They're not going like a comb over. They kind of have some wild ones, you know, going different ways. So don't do a hedgehog with a comb over. Put some the odd ones, but kind of feather them out with your finger there so they're not too. But crossing the hairs over each other gives it more realism. Okay, so now let's go over here and do the same. Trying to keep it kind of subtle. Hedgie with the comb over. We don't want a comb over. Hey, Ange, how you feeling? Good to see you. Hope you're recuperating and recovering. Didn't get to see many people over the weekend because we had that surprise birthday party for Hubster on Saturday. Then we had to go back to the lake on Sunday because Denise's battery died. So Father's Day was spent being a good dad. So now I can get more little down in here because now that I'm done doing that. So let's do the same thing over here. Let's put a few little extra bits. And I might want just the slightest little highlight on the ears. Just the tiniest bit. And brighten up the top of those ears. And now I can put a few extras coming over his feet. Again, I still have to color the, what's behind. So I might have to redo this on these edges. But if we do, we do. And I do want him to have some little whiskers. I'm not sure, white would show up better, but I've got to get this red rose done before I do the whiskers because it's coming over the rose, Okay, let's see, do I need a little bit less edge? Okay, looks pretty good. A little less edge here too. Do they look cute? I think they look cute. Yeah, little soft parts on their belly. Okay, so I know I shouldn't probably do it yet because I have the roses to do, but I'm going to go ahead and do the little toenails. I want those little toenails to show up a little better. Because they really have some white toenails. They'll show up better when I get the roses done. But yeah. I think that's good. Now I do see one other little bit. I really need a little bit darker right behind the ear. And again, you should do this before you do all the little white flicks. But it's not enough contrast, like there'd be more shading right behind the ears. Just that little bit. Can you see the difference? Look, you can really tell. This is an excellent little example. Okay, see? Look. See how nice that brings out the ear compared to this side? Let me sharpen it up. Beyond you. So now let's go ahead and do a little darker behind his ear. Oops, don't push too hard. You'll snap the tip off your pencil. And maybe we could pick out a few little extra darks here and there. Not too many because I don't want to interfere with the white pencil I just put in. But we could probably pick out a couple more dark hairs to make them look a little more hedgy. Something like that. What y'all think? Do the same over here. Let's just pick out a few extras. More contrast. I'll have a couple sticking off the back, but we want to keep it light. Just do the 2 or 3. Same for this side, just the random 2 or 3 poking out. Okay, we need to do 1 rose at least. Hey, Miss Rose, how you doing? Anybody else popping in? Okay. So I think our little hedgies are probably pretty done. I do need to take my white though. I got a little bit of flicking on his ear. Let's go ahead and round that ear out. Got his ears a little. That's better. And again, I'm going to go back with the Posca and just give him a little highlight. Oh, good, good. This eye looks like it needs just a little bit more light in the pupil. There, that's good. All right. And remember, she's got more eyelashes than he does. All right, let's see what we can do with the rose now. Again, the sun went a little weird. Are you getting a little bit of drawing in with these? Getting a little bit of drawing. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same as drawing to me. For me, it's not. Let's see. I don't want it to go pink. I'm trying to look at the paper so it doesn't go pink on me. There we go. All right, let's try that. Okay, my butt's going to sleep. No joke. I haven't got up enough in the last hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay, so we have about 45 minutes left in this segment. So let's see if we can get 1 rose done in 45 minutes. Because I don't want to drag this out to multiple parts, guys. If I do 1 rose, you'll know that I'll show the finished piece for sure. But, at least want to get a rose done. Okay, so we picked a red rose to go by. We're going to do a red rose. Okay. Let's see. My juice is gone too. All right, guys, let me go ahead and run down and get some juice or coffee real quick, because my throat is getting a little dry, and I need to move my butt. I'll do a little house cleaning and maybe some vacuuming or something in between my show and Jean's to get a little exercise in. So anyway, I just got me some cranberry juice just to have a little circulation. All right. So now let's pick some rose colors. Let's see. I know I'm going to want the light blue, the white, and the black, and of course my Posca, because I'm going to want the drops, the shadows on the rose are going to be white and blue. So probably a little bit of pink, maybe. And now let's see what kind of reds we got. I'm going to probably need a dark red. I'm going to see what colors these are. All right, this is mahogany. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to go with mahogany. And again, I don't know that I'll use every single one, but we'll see. I'm going to probably want some kind of a deep purple and a deep red. So this red right here is crimson. So crimson and mahogany. And I'm going to need a purple, though. I'm going to need a dark purple for the shadows. I don't know if this one will be dark enough. Probably it'll be one of these two for shadows, maybe both. So I'm going to pull out burgundy and raisin, because these are going to be the shadows. These are going to be the shadows, these two purpley colors in the rose. All right, now let's see. I'm going to need a light red, but I don't want to go orange. I got to be careful not to go orange. That's going to be too orange. Let's see. Probably these two. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to try these two. Uh-oh. Nub just rolled into the trash. Can't have that. All right, so probably these. All right, so this is madder red. Okay, let me go ahead and sharpen and tell you the colors as I sharpen. Okay. Oops. All right, so we're going with, again, the same blue, which I can't see. It's a forget-me-not blue. Forget-me-not blue, black and white, which I'm going to sharpen these as I go. This is just pink, I think. Yeah, pink. Pink. I'll put all the colors up here in a minute. Is that carmine? What is that? Carnation? Carmine? What is that? The light colors. Yeah, carnation. Carnation pink. So you can see the two differences in the pinks. Pink and carnation. And then for the three reds, let me sharpen them all here and then I'll show them all to you. And I'm just sharpening with my little comb sharpener here. I'm just sharpening with this right now. Okay, so the three reds I'm going with are madder red, mahogany, and crimson. There's the three reds I got. And then I also have, let me sharpen these two purples for my shadows. For the shadows, I have raisin and burgundy. So there's the reds, there's the shadows with the raisin and the, what I say, burgundy and raisin for the shadows. And then there's the three reds. Then the highlights, I got the pinks, which will, I don't, you know, they'll probably be more on the raindrops than the actual flower itself. Black, white, and the blue. So those are all the colors that I'm using right there. Okay. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do this. I do want to at least do the base coats on both of them because I don't want to forget what, I get one and they'll both look good, but I want them to look the same. And if I do one without doing the other, then they're going to probably look different. So I want them to look the same. Let me dump out my little, yeah, it's getting full. And I just keep sharpeners in the little tray here. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I think I'll just start with the raisin. Let's go ahead and do it the darkest. Let's find the darkest shadows. Roses are red, violet, or blue. How the heck did we get into this? All right, so I'm going to just start with picking out the very, very darkest. And I mean, I'm just going to put the smallest amount because this is going to go a long way when I start blending. When I start pulling these colors out, they're going to go a long way. So I just want and I just snap the tip again. I just want the very darkest bits, wherever it's the very, very darkest, like where it would be, like you would think of as black. Okay, so I'm just going to go find all those first. And you see the shadows there already from the grayscale, so it's not too hard to pick it out. But I'm not doing like that whole thing right there. I'm just getting in the corners, or where the very, very darkest blacks or the darkest shadows would be. Okay. And there's some raindrops there. I got to be aware of where they are, the little dots. And we might go back and forth between the rows and the drops just so I don't lose them. Okay. And there and there. And there. Okay, let's go ahead and just kind of spacing it out and looking at it all over the whole thing. Now let's go down here. So yeah, they feel soft. Let me just say this, the Holbies feel soft, but it's almost like you can feel a little bit of oily like to them. I don't know that there's oil in them. I don't know if they're all half oil, half, but you can feel a little bit, and I don't want to call it a drag because it's not really a drag. You know, some pencils are make them like they feel scratchy. These do not feel scratchy. They don't feel scratchy, but you can feel almost like a little bit of a pull to them. Like it's almost like the oil is kind of pulling on them. I'm trying to describe the feel of them. It's hard to do. But they're not scratchy. So I'm just going in here and finding the very darkest darks. I need to sharpen because I snapped that point off. Okay. Can y'all see okay? Stay in camera here. And after I cook my dinner, Jean, and I'm going to take you to the kitchen so I can watch while you're streaming and I'm cooking. But after I do that, I'm going to try, I'll maybe try to work on this after I cook so that I can finish this today. Because I would like to post it, but I know I'm not going to finish it on camera. So that's why I'm trying to at least get the roses done. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this stylized background here. I'll want it to be totally different. I won't want, in other words, I'm not going to probably want red roses. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this background yet. I haven't even thought about the background yet. Because I really just wanted to show y'all about the Holbies today. So, yeah. Hedgies and Holbies. Does anyone have any of the Derwent colors? The number 19 colored pencils? I don't know what those are, Eileen. Number 19? Is that like what they're called? They're called number 19? Yeah, me either. I'm not sure what she means by number 19. So I'm gonna need something. Well, go get some, Jean, because I'm gonna be. Well, I mean, you don't come on till 4. I'll be done by 2. 30 more minutes or so. I hope. Well, I'm gonna run out of time, so I'm gonna have to, crack a lack. Okay, something like that. And see, there's like all these raindrops. There's lots of rain. It almost looks like a little bumpy, so much on there. And then it's got a couple little leaves here. But I think those leaves are part of the stylized background. Or maybe that's kind of almost like a transition from the realism to the stylized. Antique ones. I have a whole set of them. Are they watercolor pencils like Dot was saying? I can't go right now on eBay. Don't be putting out eBay stuff. Oh, I'm here. I can't go to it, Eileen. Oh my gosh, you enabler. She's pushing the eBay now and some pencils. I need descriptions, Eileen, because I can't go. You're gonna have to tell me. Okay, so there we go. A little bit back here between his toes, I think. And then probably a little up under his belly there. They are the first color pencils Derwent made. Oh, I bet they look cool. Post a pic. Can you tweet a picture so I can go look at Twitter, Eileen? Can you tweet a picture so I can go look at them and we'll show them here? Because I want to see what they look like now. All right, so there's the very darkest purple. Now the next shade up that I'm going to want to put on is burgundy, but I don't want to do the burgundy yet. The blend between the red and the shadows yet, because I want to get some red on here. So I'm going to use the lightest of the reds, the matter red, and I'm going to just put a coat over all of it. It's going to be like a base coat, but I'm going to avoid the raindrops. So I'm going to shade everything one solid color, going right over the purple and everything, but avoiding the raindrops. The first color pencil Derwent ever developed in the 1930s and used to be known as the number 19 range. Its traditional round barrel and wide core makes it perfect for broad strokes and free expressive drawing. Artist slightly waxy texture is ideal for multiple layering and blending to produce an infinite spectrum of subtly different hues and tints. Available in a fantastic range of 120 colors. Artist has stood, oh, that's what they're called, Artist 19, have stood the test of time. I'm thinking she just posted some of it there. Okay, so I'm going to now put a light coat of red over the whole rose. If I lose some of my lights where I'm going to want a nice edge, I'm going to try to put white and pink with the red to keep the highlights, right? But I'm also trying not to cover up the raindrops because there's a lot of them, to the point that some edges look a little bumpy. I don't know. We don't want warts. We don't want a warty rose. We want a raindrop rose. So I'm just going to put a nice light coat, because as you know, if we lose our highlights, we can always go in there with a Posca pen. Okay, so I'm just going to do a light coat and try to go around. There's a lot of Like I said, a lot of wet little raindrops here. And I don't want it to look like a rose with warts, Bennett. Just saying, Bennett. Bennett is so nice, guys. If y'all are not on his Facebook group, I so recommend it because he is so thoughtful, so generous, gives away a free drawing or a free color book page every Friday for you to download. And he's been writing some articles lately about how, you know, people that don't think coloring is, that's not an artist, and all kinds of articles. Very encouraging. Very encouraging. Everybody on that group is, so. Alright, so I'm just going to, again, I'm trying not to put any pressure because I don't want to over pigment this yet because I don't know what other colors that I'm going to want to put in. But all this right here, there's no water droplets here, so I'm just going to go over the whole thing here with this base coat of red. Going over all the shadows, every bit of it. The purple I just did. Just trying to avoid the raindrops or the dewdrops or whatever they are. Water droplets. Okay, let's go back up to this one. Some raindrop right there. There's one right there. If you don't want to do all of them, if there's a couple too tiny there, I'm just going to kind of cover up a couple of those little bitty ones. Because I can always just put a couple extra little dots if I need to, but. So I'm kind of taking my time around all the dewdrops here. Maybe we should do a question. We haven't done a, let's see, is that part of, I think the rose ends right there. We haven't done a chat pack question. There's one, looks like there's one little dewdrop right there on the tip of that petal. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can the next 30 minutes or so. Is that a leaf or part of the rose? That's a leaf there. Something else. I'm thinking. I don't know. This looks like part of the rose there. But that, if that's a petal, it's kind of roundy. And this is probably part, yeah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say that's a petal. Not sure it is, but we're going to make it one. Same thing for up here. And that bit right there. Too many warts. There's one right there. Okay. Trying to find them all. Some of them are a little tricky to see. Okay. All right. Drink a juice here. I don't know. There's got to be a petal there. I don't like that white spot right there. It's too stark. I don't know if that's supposed to be part of a petal behind it, but we're putting a petal behind it. Oh, and then this one by his foot, too. Okay. I think that's supposed to be part of one there. Gotta kind of hunt them out. That looks pretty good. Oh, forgot one here and there. Oh, wait. Okay. I think we got it all. Okay. Let me sharpen that so it's ready. All right. Now I'm going to just see about, let me see what happens with the white and this color. Because I'm not used to these colors yet, right? And I want my white, you know, nice crisp edges. But the very inner bit, I think I'm going to need the darker pink because that's not very bright. It may not. It might need one of these two. The highlight on the inner part of the rose, on the edges of the petals, are not as white as the outer edges. Like, for instance, let's start up here. Okay, so for instance, the edges of these right here are going to be much whiter than in here. So let's see what the pink looks like on the inner edge. It may not be, I might have to go with the light pink because I don't want it to get gone. So, okay, I think what I'm going to do next though, I don't want to do the highlights yet. I want to go with the, let me go with the raisin, the burgundy on top of the raisin. So I'm going to do a little bit more in the shadows. This color, and what's my other red I want? Let me do a little test. I need a piece of paper. Okay, this is my shadow. Now let's see which one of these reds. That one. They're so similar. These two are almost so similar you can't even tell the difference on a paper, let alone, see, look, I don't know if you can see. They're very similar, and it's not going to have enough. I just need one of these. So I think I'll go with this one. Was this the first one? I think I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the crimson. So we don't need that one. So I want to go with crimson, burgundy. May not need much else in my matter. We're going to go with those three. All right, so let me go ahead and start with the matter. I just snapped the point off again doing that test. I want to start, let me just see how much dark I need. Okay, so let's get in here where I added the purple. And I do need some more. So let's go with the burgundy. I'm going to get in the shadow again over what I did with the raisin. So there's raisin in those very darkest colors is raisin. Now I'm going to take the burgundy, go over the raisin, and pull it out far enough. Let me do one petal here so maybe you can see. Pull that out far enough so I can pick up the matter, the red matter, which is the base coat, and start kind of pulling that in. This is a very dark, deep, very dark rose, red rose. I'm not going right up to the very edge. Can you see that? I'm not going right up to the very, very edge. Because I want to be able to put some white there and kind of pull down. I may not even need those pinks, except and these little raindrops aren't that big. So all right, so with these three colors, because again, I've already got the raisin in the darks, right? The very, very darks are raisin. So then I'm using the burgundy on top of the raisin. Then I'm using the crimson to kind of blend that. And then I'm taking the the madder red, which is what we did the whole thing over, and then blending that out right almost to the edge. Now I'm going to take my white and blend that in from the edge down. So I really won't even need the pink because I'm almost making the pink with my white. And I probably will want some even brighter highlights, especially like on the tops of the little droplets. But we'll do that with the Posca, but I got to get all the petals done first. So, blending the white with the what is it called again? I keep saying Mad Hatter. Madder red. Now go back to the madder red and kind of blend the white and the madder together. Why am I talking like that? Okay, so there we go. So there's one petal, except for the very brightest highlight. Might need a little, like it might just need the tiniest bit. Let me just do one, because I want y'all to be able to see. Just the tiniest bit of white, but I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to kind of feather it out with my, and you can do this with a paintbrush, just a little bit less. And if I need to, as soon as that's dry, I can knock it back again a little bit. But I'm not going to put those white highlights on now. So the purple turned a darker red. Yeah, just deepened it. Because we started with the raisin. That's the purple. And that's in the very, very darkest shadows. Right there, there, there. Okay, I think I don't even need this anymore because that's the very darkest. Then I took the raisin, no, the burgundy, sorry. Here's raisin, the very darkest. Here's burgundy, which is just one shade lighter than the raisin, and then went over that and pulled it out a little. Then I took the crimson and went up even a little farther, and then took the madder red, which is the color we did the whole base coat, and blended it all the way right up to just a tiny little sliver. But there was red there, remember? Because I colored the whole thing. We're going to do another petal in a minute. So all the way up, and then took the white and kind of pulled the white down into, it kind of makes it a pink, but bright still. But if it's not bright enough, we'll go back with Posca or gel pen, whatever. Okay, now you'll be able to see this better when I do the back petal here. Okay, so now I'm going to take the darkest that were the burgundy, because there's already a little bit of raisin there and a little bit of raisin there. But now I'm going to go up from there. I'm going over the raisin color, so it's kind of blending the raisin and the burgundy. Okay, just a little bit like that. Kind of blend it out. Now I'm going in with the crimson and blending that out. Then I'm going in with madder red all the way to just before you get to the edge of wherever you want to highlight. Now, everyone doesn't have to have the same exact shape highlight. This side might have a little more than this one, a little less. But every layer I'm going over the previous layer. So like where the raisin color was, also has burgundy, crimson, and madder. So there's like 4 layers in the darkest dark. So close to the edge. And then take the white and from the top down blend into the petal. And don't forget you're picking up red on that tip. You don't want to forget that that's on there. It's okay now because we're blending the white and the red together. But if I took this white pencil right now with the red on there and went to a portrait, it's going to make a red mark. So that's why you always see this on my desk all the time, because I'm constantly cleaning the tips. So see how that, and again, you don't have to make it like a little soldier. Like this side might be a little brighter. This one's tucked in a little, so it may not be quite as bright. This one may have a bigger white tip because the light might be shining on that more. So now I'm going to go back to the matter and kind of keep blending the two together until you get it like you like. Something like that. Back to the white again, maybe smooth that out just a little. So something like that, okay? And like I'm looking at now, I see that looks a little dark there where it's not too dark, but it looks like it's not blending in very well. So I'm going back and blending that back in a little. Might need a little bit more shadow pulled up, just so it has a smooth blend. You just got to keep going back and forth to get it all smoothed out like that. Okay. So now let me do these other outer petals here. This one and this one. We'll do these two at a time. And then the next red. Then the madder. Then the white. Back to the madder. Maybe back to the white. Sharpen. So would you do lighter on the edges of all the petals? Yeah, I'm going to. They all don't need to be stark white. That's why I was saying earlier that I was thinking about putting the pink in there, but I'm just going to go ahead and do just like I'm doing now with all of them. But some of them won't be quite as bright. Like this is pretty bright white there, and it's not as bright right there. So I'll be able to achieve that just blending these two together to make that pink edge, and then keeping it as white as on some of them that I want. And again, if I lose, like, oh, I really want that one whiter, then I'll go in there at the end with the Posca if I need to. And don't make them all the same. Don't make like them all like one white rim. Like this one, see how I brought the white down further? It's not even a line. It's more of a pull down, like almost like a little white triangle there. You see, it's not like a line. Some will have a line, but not all of them are going to have, they just might have a nice bright edge that's folding over. And that's why I'm saying get you a reference out and look at them. Look at where the petals fold and where they have a dark edge or a light edge. Okay, so again, I'm using these pretty much all these colors because I've already put the raisin, the purple, is already in there. All that dark area's got the raisin in there, so I'm not going to use that anymore. Well, I can't say never, but you know, I'm going now with the burgundy as the dark. Thanks, guys. It just takes a while, you know. Okay, so let me see if I can get at least one done. And I want to try to do, at least get this one down here, this done so I can put some of those raindrops on there. Because some of these raindrops are very tiny. And they'll probably just almost just be a white dot. But I want a little bit of color in some of the larger ones. So I'm kind of almost putting just a little bit of a, all right, to help with the seeing of the raindrops, I think I'll just go ahead and put a little tiny line, not an overshadow yet, because I don't want to do that, but I'm going to put just a tiny bit of a shadow under each one. Just the smallest little line, just the littlest shadow under them, just to find them all. Let's just find all the raindrops. Keep your pencil sharp. I really need to sharpen mine again because I want it just the tiniest bit. I'm just trying to kind of find them all again. I think there's one there, I'm not sure. We'll put one there even if there's not. Put one there and one there. One there and that one there. Okay. Well, it looks like there's one there too. Okay. So let's do this one petal here. Now I'm going in with the crimson. Okay, now I'm going in with the madder red. Okay, now this one might have more white, a lighter area right in here, because see how it's kind of flipped over and see the dew is sitting on there? So if it's sitting right there, then it's sitting on top. Otherwise it'd be dripping. Gee, this is so helpful. Oh, good, Kathy. I hope I'm zoomed in enough. So now I want to make sure that I have plenty of white, or i.e. light pink, or you know, light red or white and pink, right here where that petal is going to have the light hitting it right here, because otherwise these little raindrops, and I'm not doing those yet, as you can see I'm just kind of working around them, but they're sitting on top of this rose petal, otherwise they'd be dripping off. Okay, so I'm going to put the white on top. See how it's lighter? But I'm going to go back to the crimson. Let's sharpen and smooth that out. And I'll try to hopefully finish this sometime today. I don't know. I can't promise. I'll try. Because I got stuff to do. I haven't, you know, neglected the house for the weekend, and really last week because Cameron and I played all week. And you know, you might see a couple little petal, you know, like little rose lines, maybe just a couple little something, you know, veins like. So my house needs some little bit of love. And I told Hubster I'd make pork chops tonight, and red potatoes and fried spinach. So I'll have to do that while I'm watching Jean. Back to the white. Let me sharpen. Up, low battery. Oh my gosh, I can't lose my little raindrop. Let me see. I need a charger. Here we go. So anyway, I wanted to try to at least get one rose and a couple of raindrops done for you before. Plug this in over here. Before we left. Now I gotta see if I can reach. See if this plug will reach. Let's see here. I got so many plugs and things going on. Alright. Hang on, guys. Let's plug in here. Ah, it's not reaching. One moment. The plug is not. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright. Alright, where was I? Oh. Okay. So kind of what I want to do, I wanted to kind of show y'all Helen's raindrop too, because these are so tiny. I was going to think maybe we could do one of Helen's samples. Although she does, remember in her book what we were looking at earlier, Color Special Effects, and she has these little green kind of teardrops, but I just want to do one little raindrop, but I want to do it in red for you. So let's see, how can I do this? Let's see. I don't need my pinks. Let's put the pinks to the side for now. Okay. So let's just see if we can do it with these reds. I'm just going to try to do this little raindrop on a scrap paper here for you real quick, just so you can see. I'm not going to probably even have that much detail in mine because see how little mine are? All I'm going to have is probably one shade lighter under the bottom and a white dot, because that's all you're going to see. So because you're not going to be able to see my raindrops very well, I wanted to do one of hers just real quick for you in red, just so you can kind of get an idea. Okay, so we're just going to do a raindrop right here, a little big. Yeah. Okay, so then we have, there's going to be a highlight right there. I'm just showing y'all this one. And then this side's going to be the dark over there, and there's going to be a shadow right under here. Okay, this shadow is on the outside of the raindrop. So when y'all saw me do the little lines right here, all these little lines underneath, those little U shapes, that's this under. That's under the raindrop, right? And she kind of drags out her shadow here, which you can do. It depends on how much space you have. If you can do too much of that, but just so you can kind of see where we're going. Okay, so there's the shadow on the underneath. And it's kind of not very round, is it? Okay, so then here, okay. Hope y'all can kind of see. Actually, let me get a black just so I want y'all to see where the line is between the two. Right there. It would be a dark red like I'm doing, but it's not showing up. Okay, because I want y'all to see the shadow between the two. Alright, so now I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the madder red, and I'm just going to kind of go over all this. Just this is like if it was on my rose. Okay. And take my white. It needs a little more dark right there. So something like this. Okay. And that's just a round drop. A teardrop like this would be like this, but it would be it would be like an oval right here, kind of like the teardrop shape. Let me draw that in here. Hang on, people, hang on. So if it was a drop, it'll come down more like this in a teardrop shape, right? So if you wanted a driplet, something like that. Again, this side would be more oval or more teardrop shape, like that. And I always liked, I don't know, that's just me. I always like one little thing's not enough. I always like maybe a couple, you know, just something like that. Or you can get that highlight on the edge and kind of feather it up. So you can play a lot more little details, but you get the idea, right? So anyway, this is what we were, something like this is what's going to be on here. Right. And again, here's one of the eyes. Here's the drippy eye on skin because it's brown or tan because it's reflecting the color of the skin. Here's one she's doing on green, and she's doing that on a leaf, so it would be green. I'm doing one on a rose, so it's going to be red. But I wanted to show you this because you're not going to see it when I do it on here. It's not even going to be that big, right? It's just going to be the tiniest bit. Like, all right, let's go ahead and go to this petal with the drops on it. I was working my way around, but I think we're going to run out of time. So let's go ahead and do this petal right here. Okay, so where's my dark? Okay, so I'm going to go with the burgundy, and I got to get nice and sharp because it's not much space. All right, so I just want a little tiny bit of reflection. And again, what I'll probably do to get that white is just with a dot of Posca pen, because it's so tiny, guys, so tiny. And then the red, again, let's get it sharp. And just a little bit of shading right in there. Yeah, see, I can't even get that sharp of a point. I'm going to have to do it with the Posca, because I can't even leave a highlight on there. Okay, so let's go out to Posca. It's a little bit of white. And then the light part of the raindrops. See, you can't even see. I'm barely able to get my pencil in there. It's so tiny. Okay. They're too tiny even for... There we go. Alright, so now when I do the shading around it, you'll see them better. They're so little, guys. I mean, they're the littlest drops ever. And then these right here, I'm just going to put it like a little white dot. Like almost like, some of those are just like a white dot, because you can't even hardly shade them. So we'll just do a little shading underneath, because these are way small. But I think you get the idea. I think you get the idea from this. Alright, so now let me go on here and shade. I can even make them a little bigger if I wanted, I guess. I can make the drops bigger than they are. All right, let me color I gotta color the the petal first. Oh, wrong color. Burgundy. Okay, so let's do, okay, wait, let me find the highlights there on this one. Okay. Shadow under each. We'll get there, guys. I'm not reading chat. I'm trying to do this rose. That petal under there needs shading. This one needs shading. The shading comes up over there. And the shading comes around behind this one. Okay. Okay, now let's go with the crimson. Hang on, guys, I'm not seeing chat for just a moment. So I want to work around these little raindrops. Okay, now with the white, and we got to blend. Very tiny. Bye, Vicky. I don't know if you had to leave, if that's what you were saying. I'm trying to get there, guys. Wanted to have one completed rose, but I don't think we're going to get there. Back to the crimson. I'll have to get in there with the Posca. I just can't get that point in there with the pencil. Trying to blend around each little drop. And then I just need the tiniest little highlight on each one. A little more highlight on the top, I think, because that's where the light's hitting it. I'll have to let that dry. I can't smear that with pencil yet till that dries, because I keep trying to smear the white Posca and it makes it go away. All right, so let me do these other two petals here. Let's see. Back to the burgundy. I wanted to try to get one full one done, but I didn't do. And back to the crimson. So I hope y'all are able to get something out of this. So you just can't get in there, it's so tiny. So tiny. Okay, well, need a little bit more red over here. And then with the white, to blend. See, this is where those the little dots are sitting. So they have to have a little shelf to sit on. The little droplets. So add the white. Go back in with the crimson. So just back and forth till you get them all blended in. I don't know. I'm not liking too many. There's too many of them. It looks like a disease. I don't know. You know what I mean? We could drip a couple of them. Let's see. I'll have to do it with the Posca. Let's see if we can do a little drippy. So they don't look like just white dots. I'm not liking it that they're all white dots. I want them to almost drip. So let's see if I can do a little drippage on a couple of them anyway. Because otherwise it looks like, oh, I haven't colored that one yet. Otherwise it looks like they're having a speckled something. Okay, let's keep on with the, I shouldn't even be doing those until the very end anyway, but I'm trying to get so y'all can all see. Okay, I gotta go back to the burgundy, a little bit more shadow in there. All right, back to the red in here. There might be just the tiniest bit of a highlight right here. Right in the little cup of the rose, right in there. But I don't want it wider. I want it kind of light. Blend the edges. Okay. Lots of blending back and forth. And for now, trying to go around little white dots. This one's actually not even a full seen petal. It's actually just behind their nose. So it's really not even the full petal that you're seeing there. So let's get all that nice and colored in. You might see a little highlight there. Ah, so much, so much. Let's do this one. Again, don't want to miss a step with the colors, because if I do, the colors aren't going to be all right. So I don't want to miss getting the burgundy, the crimson, the madder, all the colors of red in there, so that looks right. And then this one might have a white edge on this one. The rose is looking at. Well, I'm not going to have time to do my. Seriously, guys, that's probably getting ready to say, you're out of time. So I really wanted to get these little droplets in there. And I wanted these to have a couple drippy ones. But I don't know if I don't have time. I could almost just do it by hand. Just pull it down like that. Kind of drip like that. Just kind of smear. And then go back and shade. Because, I don't know. I don't want them to look like diseases. You know. This one might even curl under. Might have a little water kind of under the little lip. Okay, let's go back to this. Get rid of that white dot. I'm not going to keep them all. But I don't want it dripping down on Hedgie. See though, I could almost just kind of pull the white down and just get my little drip. Maybe it was raining out. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going around the edge here. This one probably wouldn't have much of a shine showing because it's kind of tucked up under there. And then this one, let's go again with the 3 layers. Okay, and the next one. The back one here, see? And the red. So if y'all are watching this and all of a sudden it stops, I will post a picture of this when I get it done. May or may not be today. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do more drippies instead of all dots. Unless I just decide to... Here's what I would really like to do, is just make these bigger. So they look like nice big drop. Because I'm just not liking the individuals so much. I mean, I'm going to leave these. But I might... I don't know. I might just combine some of these together. So there's just not a white dot, you know. Because they're too tiny for me to really do much to them. I mean, I can put a little bit of a shadow over them, like in the crevice there, but I can't get too much detail because they're so little. Let's just shadow them a little there. That one might be in shadow. Love the hedges. Thanks, guys. Yep, there's the hedgies. Put a little shadow behind that drip. I don't want it to get on them. I mean, I could drip it off their nose, but I don't want to. Alright, let's get back up here. Okay, back with the white on the edge of this one. And tell old Bennett to make his raindrops a little bigger. Back with the red right in there. I was hoping to get one rose done. We're working it. That's too something. It's too lined up. It needs a little less lip right there, I think. Keep it on the outer edge there. That's better. And right up at the top. because it doesn't, I don't want it to look all, everything to be outlined, because then it won't look natural. So, there we go, that's better. Have this a little fatter. Now let's do this one real quick. And again, decide where maybe this has a little bit more highlight coming through the middle, like right in there. And just back and forth between the 3 reds and the white. Needs a little darker right in there. Crimson, or the madder rather. And then the white. Need to sharpen all of them again. So anyway, guys, before the camera ends, or before the recording ends, thank everybody for being here on Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope they have a good week. We'll get back to more projects on Wednesday, hopefully. Let's get the one right up under. Let's get this spit in there. I kind of smeared some of the white. Let's get up in there. Alright, let's get this one. If you have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments on my YouTube when it uploads. I'm trying to get this center of this rose done. As quickly as I can. We've almost got it, guys. We almost got this one done. Not much on looking at chat though, but I guess y'all would rather see this done than me gab at you. Sharpen up that. And I hope y'all were able to see some, because I am kind of zoomed in, but officially see us on Hump Day. Yeah, May. Let's see if I can finish this up. I need a little bit more burgundy. Make these little drops just a tiny bit bigger so I can see them. Gonna let that Posca dry now before I put anything on top. You like it when I gab at you? Okay. Alright, now I do want a couple like last little it's the tiniest little bit of wet on the edges there. That's too much on that one. Back that one up. A little bit of shimmer on some of them. Just the littlest bit here. I don't even know if I finished all the petals. Oh, continue recording. Okay, so now guys, it's telling me I gotta stop, so I'll stay with you guys for another minute. But we'll continue on, so I gotta deepen up the darks in there a little bit more. And kind of smooth these. I don't know. They're so tiny. I'm having trouble getting them to... I can't work with them. I need a spot. I need a spot. But anyway, guys, so I hope y'all enjoyed the little Holbein Hedgies and roses. And we'll finish this up. Get that nice and dark and rich and dark inside the center there. A little more. And yeah, so thanks everybody for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this. And we'll see you later. Bye.